Well, good evening Dirtfish friends, from another sunny end to another exciting day here at Rally Latvia. Now before we get on to the top three as it stands at the moment, let's talk about the drama because there was a bit of it today. It was a day of two halves. The morning, lots of longer stages, quite quiet in terms of the action. This afternoon, however, things ramped up a bit. There were shorter stages, but they delivered a bit more of a punch. Let's talk first of all about Inflatable Gate because boy, has that got people talking.
Yeah, it was a bonkers afternoon, to be totally honest. Elfyn Evans had come through and he'd got it wrong just before the arch. He'd gone into the ditch all over the place, came around the outside the arch. He basically knocked out the guy ropes that hold the arch in.
I've seen it happen at festivals many a time.
Absolutely,
It's just happened on a bit of a bigger scale.
Something then happened in the interjecting 3 minutes before Tanak came round. Tanak had no idea what was on the road. Really fast corner, straight into this deflated arch, and it got tangled up in his car. And he was very, very unhappy, and he was rightly frustrated when eventually he got the car untangled from this arch and got to the stage end, and he gave his interview and he said some really quite interesting things about race control and what were they doing, were they not looking at the cameras, how could he possibly have been allowed to continue on when there was this obstacle in the stage, and he suggested that maybe people were doing other things rather than doing their job. Yeah, you know, I understand Tanak's frustrations. You know, if we are going to put these arches over stages, there has to be contingencies. You know, you have to understand that if someone hits it, like clearly Elfyn Evans did, there is a real chance that that arch is no longer secure, is no longer safely out of the confines of, you know, the rally cars. It's clearly, you know, it's compromised. If a car's hit it as Evans did, it's compromised. So there has to be a protocol in place that says, what do we do in this situation? Well, we stop the stage until we can establish whether or not it is still safe. Joe, it was quite clear that he thought it was just ridiculous that the stage wasn't stopped. What's your view on these arches, that there seem to be more and more of them appearing?
Yeah, and they're always in stupid places. That's the thing. How many spoilers have we seen lost on them? Can ruin someone's rally very, very easily. They're not in place on the recce either. So it's always a surprise when they arrive. So yeah, they definitely need rethinking, and the fact that there wasn't a marshal on site there is ludicrous. Yeah. But the issue is that the promoter marches are sort of slanted inwards towards the top. So and they're often narrowing the road quite a lot. So the chances of losing a spoiler is massive, and we know the consequences of that with these cars.
I really hope that, you know, if we'll put like an independent investigation together, you know, to really understand what happened, and yeah, hopefully, you know, I mean, we definitely need to modernize, you know, the safety while participants are racing, you know. So yeah, I hope it goes this way. Let's say now in the end we got the drive shaft failure and the jump landing. So yeah, then it was just before on the braking on a slow corner. So obviously without the drive shaft you can't really slow down. So yeah, we had to use the hay ball a bit to slow down the car.
And all of that action happened on SS14 this afternoon. That was the only stage of today's rally that was repeated.
Yeah.
And it caused a lot of issues, not only on that second pass, but on the first pass as well. Tell us about what happened in WRC2.
Miele, in his little car, had a monster roll. You know, you'll see the footage and it looks awful and you think, oh my goodness me, but it's the kind of crash. If you're going to have a big crash, it's the kind of crash you want. It's nice and open. The car has continued to roll. The energy is dissipated. Driver and co-driver were both okay, but my goodness me, it was an enormous crash, wasn't it?
So that was 12.
Yeah.
14, then we saw Inflatable Gate. The one in the middle, I think it was 13.
I think it was 13.
Gregoire Munster. He had an issue as well, a bit of a miscalculation of a line going over a jump, and he went well off into the bushes.
He was lucky. He was really lucky. Over, you know, the road turned left over the jump, as you can see, and he just set himself up wrongly. And this is the thing, whenever you've got a blind jump, you really have to be 100% accurate with how you set yourself up, and you have to be sure of your approach speed. He was possibly a little bit too quick. He was slightly out of line, and as he came across the jump, he'd have realised as he's in the air, oh, this ain't right, and he's drifted in the air across the stage, whacks that bank, And I think he got away with it.
Yeah, a couple little nuggets of drama over the afternoon, but the top of the leaderboard, things have remained pretty steady. Kalle Rovanperä still at the top, a pretty impressive, steady, controlled drive from him, would you say?
It's been one of those anonymous days for Rovanperä. He's been brilliant. He's made no mistakes. He's been brilliantly consistent and fast. But really, we've not been looking at him. He's been so good. You know, we've just expected him to come through, win stages. He won his 200, would you believe? His 200 stage win was on the, what was it, second stage this morning, I think it was.
Early on,
really
yeah.
early on this morning. So, you know, he has been, again, absolutely magnificent out there. Nothing dramatic apart from the times. You know, you look at the times at the end of the stage and think, how does he continue to do this? But then again, you know, Rovanperä was just slightly anonymously going about his business at the front. What was keeping us entertained was the battle behind him.
Absolutely. The other two steps on the podium have changed ever so slightly, but there is not much in it at all. Ogier currently lying second, Cesc's down into third, but there's not a lot separating them.
There's really not a lot, and I think maybe there's a few people that are a bit surprised by Cesc's his performance. A few people grumbling yesterday, oh well, he would be quick, he knows the stages, he had a good road position, of course he was quick. That's nonsense. He's a young kid driving a Rally 1 car for the first time. Yesterday was enormously impressive. Maybe even more impressive today. You know, Ogier, you'd have thought with his experience, more or less the same road position, Ogier should have dealt with him. And he's not been able to deal with him. Cesc has just kept nibbling away at Ogier. Yeah, Ogier's got past him. But he's not comfortable yet. It's only a handful of seconds. And who knows, yeah, we've got 30 odd Ks tomorrow. You know, Ogier has to be on his A game. To be fair to Seb, he hasn't been well today. He had a very bad night last night. Not been desperately unwell today, but he felt sick last night. He had a bad night's sleep. Not his best day in that Toyota for sure. But, you know, tomorrow he might have to produce one of his best days because, you know, Cesc can see that second place. It's there for him. And he's got a huge amount of motivation to push for it.
Lying third currently at your home event behind world champions, what does it mean to you?
It's amazing, and we have one world champion behind us as well, so we're still sandwiched between many world championships, but yeah, it's amazing to be at least close to them.
It's been a slight drop down the podium from where you were last night, but you're not giving them room to breathe at the top. What's tomorrow going to have in store for you?
We'll see. We'll just get back to home, go through tomorrow's stages, and yeah, we'll keep our rim. We have nowhere to run really, but yeah, of course we'll do our best as always.
He's not far behind at all, and then looking a bit further down the leaderboard, neither is Tanak. That gap's closing as well.
Yeah, you know, the old, he got the time back, as you'd expect, for that Inflategate issue. He got the time back, and it's worked a little bit in his favour. You know, he's had a great day. He's had a really strong day. Remember, he started in 6th, and he went about things in a very positive way this morning. They seemed to find something with all three Hyundais today that they were lacking yesterday. All three drivers have said the car is more drivable, there's more confidence to push and to commit. And what we know about these fast stages, if you can't commit, you're going to hemorrhage time.
A driver that's had a bit of an up and down day, Takamoto Katsuta. Now, looking at the individual stage times, he's had a couple of second positions today, but then you mix that with his moment just to finish things off before coming into service. What do you think he's thinking?
Do you know what? Taka-san did make that mistake, and he was a little quick into that chicane, just a little bit too quick. And we talked to him this afternoon about it. He said, some of these chicanes, they're constructed differently, and you're not quite sure what you're going to come across. And he just got caught out, but he was too quick, and he put the car into a tree, damaged his power steering, and lost some seconds, lost a place or two.
Now, a quick few words about the rest of our drivers. Adrien Fourmeau, how do you think he's feeling this evening?
Not a bad day for Adrien Fourmeau. The characteristics of the stages today were a little different from yesterday, and the car seemed to struggle on the softer, faster sections. But he was decent. He was decent out there, you know, as you say, up and down in terms of positions, but not a bad day for Fourmeau.
Him and Evans seeming quite close to each other.
Yeah, they are. You know, and Elvin again has just gone about his business today. You know, he made that mistake that obviously precipitated the problems that Tanak had, but Evans has been okay, and Evans knows that you know, he's got to be there or thereabouts to more or less capitalise on anything else that might happen in front of him. But he won't take any risks. We know that about Elvin.
And what about our other two Hyundai drivers?
What can we say? What can we say other than, well,
Where have they been?
Where have they been?
Where have
We
they
haven't
been?
seen them. You know, positive for Esa-Pekka. Again, he thinks he's found something that will translate into performance in Finland. That's enormously positive. Thierry has just bumbled around at the back, which, you know, for a potential world champion is not clearly what he wants to do, and maybe it's not what the fans want to see. I think he has a really reasonably good point about that. He was very vocal about it last night.
On to WRC2. There has not been a change in the top three from yesterday evening. Solberg still at the top. Do you think he's enjoyed his day today?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, if you're leading a rally, you're always going to enjoy your day. He was magnificent yesterday. He's been good out there again today. He has to learn to manage rallies, and that's what he's doing out there.
Looking at second, we then have Heikkilä.
Yeah, but the battle with Heikkilä and Pajari has been really, really interesting. And, you know, two young Finnish drivers, both looking forward for different reasons to Rally Finland in a few weeks' time. But, yeah, Heikkilä's been impressive. Pajari's picked up his pace today. He was off the pace yesterday. He's picked it up today, and that battle's been entertaining, that's for sure.
It has. The classification might not have changed much. The times haven't really changed much either. Oliver's getting quicker, but so are the other two behind, so it'll be interesting to see what happens tomorrow. However, some bad news coming from WRC2 as well.
Yeah, you know, obviously, Dirtfish being an American company, we cover the American Championship. We love watching Brandon Semenuk in the American Championship. He's come across here for the first time. He set some decent times out there yesterday and this morning. He's out this afternoon. He rolled his car. Driver, co-driver are okay, but a disappointing end to his first venture in the WRC.
Not the day that he'd be looking for at all. However, we still have a full day of rallying ahead of us tomorrow. Super Sunday. What are you expecting, Colin?
Well, you know, we've got to expect Thierry Neuville to throw everything at it. It will be very difficult with his road position tomorrow, but he'll throw everything at it. I expect Ott Tänak to be the man that comes out tomorrow. But having said that, you know, yes, you're the man at the front, Robin Perra, may well take things a little easier tomorrow, but the two behind him, Ogier and Sesks, they're fighting still. So it could well be that we have a fight for Super Sunday points between, I suspect, Sesks, Ogier and, well, definitely Ott Tänak. Will Elvin Evans get into that battle? He'll do his best, that's for sure, but again, maybe hampered by road position tomorrow. Really, really interesting.
It's all to play for. Well, those are Colin's predictions for tomorrow. Leave yours below if you have any, and we will keep you updated as the action happens. In the meantime, keep an eye on the socials, and we will see you again soon.
Looking forward
Goodbye.
to it. See you tomorrow.